Hi! How are
How are you?
you?
How are you?
I'm good. Oh, your hair is all like super curly today.
I'm just out of the shower, actually. So you caught me at a good time.
You literally wake up. Oh, you get out of the shower and your hair is that perfect.
Oh my God. I feel like it's crazy all over the show. I'll just fluff it up. Yeah,
Is that
done.
is those are natural curls?
Yeah. I pretty much do my hair every 5 days and nothing more because I'm really I'm really low maintenance.
That's funny. It's amazing. I wish I had thick curly hair like that. I have thin, well, not thin, fine,
Oh,
straight hair.
oh, thanks.
How are
I
you handling quarantine in New Zealand? Or are you guys out of quarantine?
We're not out of quarantine yet. We've just moved from level 4 to level 3. So we've basically got essential industries that have gone back. So we've got construction, forestry have gone back. Everyone that can work from home is still working from home. So we are still quarantined, but we're allowed to expand our social bubble. So you're allowed to see close friends, people who are maybe living alone or need caregivers. So we're just like still things are still pretty tight, but we're a little bit more liberal with it at the moment, just testing it out. So that I think it will be that way for the next couple of weeks.
New
And then
Zealand's
they'll
done New Zealand's done a pretty good job of limiting the amount of cases, haven't they?
yeah, New Zealand's done an amazing job. I think we've had one death from coronavirus and then one probable death, which they haven't actually confirmed whether it was coronavirus or not. But the government, like, we've had some really great government leadership, just making some really amazing decisions to lock things down super quickly, help support people through the time financially. And yeah, um, the cases have gone down from what we were having. So that's a really good result.
You're so lucky. We're in well, a state that I live in is doing pretty well comparatively to the rest of the United
Yeah.
States.
Yeah.
But we've still had like hundreds of deaths here. But
Oh.
the United States is such a mess. But they're like lifting some restrictions. We can like
Yeah.
people can go fishing here now, and they can do like outdoor activities where they're not like in groups.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they can't play sports or anything, but they can like go fishing, golfing, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Our government gave out a subsidy, like a wage subsidy to businesses who had employees to pay, so that everyone was receiving some form of income over
Yeah.
the period. And then they did the same. So if you're a self-employed, you could apply for like a subsidy, and it just helps people pay their rent and do that essential stuff that you need, like food and their medical during this period. So it's been really really good. The New Zealand government, I find them does an amazing job of supporting
Yeah.
people that need support. And there's a lot of different organizations that you can apply to for funding to help out with medical and things like that if you need it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so good. We're super lucky. I feel super lucky to be in New Zealand right now because I know I feel quite safe being here because I think
Yeah.
we've got a good crew manning the ship.
Yeah.
Mm.
Your prime minister did a really good job.
Yeah, she's done an amazing job on handling like um, some really big challenges in
Mm-hmm.
her like terms. So like because she had to deal with the Christchurch massacre, which we had. So
Right.
there was a shooting here in Christchurch, a first of its kind in New Zealand, and it just really like rocked our city. And it was two mosques that were attacked and like hundreds of people killed. And she just did like an amazing job of uniting the country and doing like all that,
Yeah,
like
that made
just
headlines
the
here.
aftermath. Yeah, she was so good, and that was gosh, I can't remember. It's probably about a year and a bit ago, year and a half ago, maybe.
I
Yeah.
just remember that it was like, because they don't have mass shootings aren't very common in New Zealand, right?
No, not at all.
Yeah,
Like we were all just like shaken to the roots.
that's crazy.
Yeah. It was so sad.
Did they change anything related to gun laws after that?
Um, I'm not exactly sure, but I definitely think that they um changed. I don't think you're allowed automatics anymore, or like certain types of guns. Don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people had to hand their guns in. And amazingly, some people were just doing it voluntarily because they were like, we think this is the best thing. So they were going and handing their guns in of their own volition, which was awesome. Yeah.
I wish that would happen here.
Yeah. People are asking, is there any Gloriavale updates?
Yeah, are there?
Um, well, I guess like so it's kind of interesting with Gloriavale being in coronavirus because they like their way of living is that they are their social bubble. Like their social bubble is 500 people.
Right.
So and you can't really like isolate them because they live in rooms in hostels. So they
Right.
like would literally they couldn't be stuck in their room because their room doesn't have a kitchen or a bathroom in. So their social bubble is kind of related to like the floor that they would be living on, I would say. But the government's keeping a close eye on it, and we have a trust called the Gloriavale Leavers Trust, and they do a lot of work talking to the police, to the government about and notifying them about any breaches in the like COVID restrictions. So they're like the best organization for us leavers who have family back there, just to keep us informed and like give some sense of like safety about what's going on because the people of Gloriavale are a bit uneducated, but in a way they're in a really good position because they're so isolated from the world and they're pretty self-sustainable anyway. Um, so for this type of thing, like that they're actually in a way in a lot better position than a lot of us.
So like there hasn't been any cases near them or anything.
No, no,
That's good.
yeah,
Yeah, I was reading some articles in I think on the Herald, um, the New Zealand Herald, is that right?
yeah, that's right.
By some of the leavers talking about contacting and speaking to their family in
Yeah,
Gloriavale and them not even knowing what was going on.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They wouldn't. Well, they don't have TV. They don't have any access to radio. There's no mobile phones, so the people of Gloriavale are they're really cut off from the world, pretty much. So they would have
How
no what they don't have the internet.
if
So
they got infected, think about that. It would spread like
yeah,
wildfire there.
yeah, that's because they live in such close quarters. It
Yeah.
would be very hard. So I think, yeah, the government's just it's like shut down these school gatherings, like a lot of the similar things that we're undergoing in society out here. They've implemented that in Gloriavale, and I think, yeah, probably the best thing is if people aren't going in and out of Gloriavale, that would like keep the people there safer.
Right. Some of
Yeah,
them
but I feel bad for the
traveled
people
into
who.
town though, right?
Pardon?
Some of them actually travel into town, right?
Yeah, sometimes they travel into town for medical um, and groceries, pretty much, because they don't grow all of their food, so they need to buy some of their food in bulk from like the marketers.
Interesting. Do any of them work in town or no?
No, pretty much all work at Gloriavale. Yeah, they might work in town, like if they're doing any business work, so where they need to go into town for things, but they wouldn't really. Not many of them would be working in town like on the daily.
Okay. So when you guys
Yeah.
left, you left with your parents and your siblings,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Right.
But
Yeah.
you must have left like aunts, uncles, and cousins. Has anyone else left of your family or are they all still there?
No, no, actually, so because my parents were really respected, they were like leaders in the like community we grew up in. Once they left, it really like rocked the community to its core, and it went through a really tough period where like a lot of people were questioning the leadership because
Mhm.
my parents essentially were leadership, and they had said, "Well, we're not okay with this."
Yeah.
So I like it kind of paved the way once my parents made that decision for others to go, well, if they did, then I can too. And so a lot of my cousins' whole families have left following my parents leaving.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
so like there have been more people leave Gloriavale in probably the last 10 years than there have been in the last, say, before that, maybe like the last 20.
were the cousins that you were really close with, are they still there or are they out now?
Some of them are out and some of them are still there. So yeah, it's a bit of a mix.
Because I remember watching one of your interviews talking about the cousins that you were really, really close to and being like, it was
Yeah,
in your, was it in your TED talk maybe?
yeah. It was. I talk about them a lot. Like they grew up like my siblings, pretty much. Um, but yeah, no, there's a lot of my cousins who are still there in Gloriavale. I have so many cousins, right? Because they don't practice birth control; it's against their religion. So I've got so many cousins. You like half of Gloriavale is related to me.
And you're all probably like, now you're probably all like, give me all the birth control, right?
I'm like, I don't know. I'm gonna put up having babies for as long as possible and enjoy my career and my life.
Because you didn't
I
have
feel
that
like super
option
lucky.
before.
I'm like 29 now, and I'm like, I still haven't had kids yet, and I'm like, whoa, like, in another world, like, if things had just been different, if I'd stayed in Gloriavale, I would have like 6 to 7 children by now, most likely.
That my uterus hurts just thinking about that.
Oh my god, don't even talk to me about it. I'm
So
so
when, this
like
was
that.
the
That
one
is not.
thing I was wondering. When they have the babies, they have home births, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So do the babies get newborn care from doctors? Do or is it just like the midwife? Like what happens if a baby is born with a health condition?
Well, if a baby's born with a health condition, then they'll get medical care. So say if the woman has complications also with birth, she will have her baby out of Gloriavale in a hospital, and they have trained midwives. Plus, they have the regional midwives. So there's the midwives that are not a part of Gloriavale that like serve that region because it's all rural, and so they travel around to like because it's essentially farming company over where they sorry farming country,
Yeah.
so people very far away from towns, so they have traveling midwives to go who are local, who
Okay.
show up at your house when you're having a baby.
How far would a hospital be if they needed care?
um Gosh, I think probably like an hour and a half drive. It's a lot, yeah. So you're
So
very excited.
yeah. This was a oh, okay. This is a totally random question as well. But I okay, so outside of the babies, you're far away. Sorry, I'm not. I was thinking about something else because I was thinking about how many kids they have. So the
Yeah,
average woman there will have like 10 kids, right?
13, yeah, but 10, 13, 14.
10 to 14 children.
Oh my god, even just listening to you say that, I'm like, oh my god. My
That's
grandmother had 16 kids. My grandmother had 16 children.
16. And your mom had 10, right?
My mom had 10, and I
Oh.
have none.
Have your siblings had children?
um, some of my brothers have, none of my sisters. The sisters are all still little too, because the three girls are at the bottom end of the age in our family. But yeah, my brothers have had a couple of kids.
And they're not planning on having big families?
I don't think so. Um, nah, not like 10.
That's so okay. So when a family has this many kids, are there a lot of accidents because there's not enough supervision?
Um, I would say not in the Gloriavale society because it like functions like a well-oiled machine. and like you've always got your aunties like looking out for you, for your kids. And so like responsibility of childcare is almost like it's really shared throughout the community.
Oh,
So their way of living is the reason they can afford to have that many children. Because like if they just live, say, normally,
yeah,
and you had rent to pay, schooling to pay, um, all those normal like burdens that you have to carry, you wouldn't be able to have that many children because you wouldn't actually be able to support them.
right.
Um, but in Gloriavale, schooling's provided, food's provided, roof over your head, clothing's provided. So the lifestyle in itself is provided for your family. And then to answer someone's question, yes, there is sometimes infertility in Gloriavale. And this is where it gets kind of hypocritical because Gloriavale say that you're not allowed to intervene when it comes to like prevention of conception. However, if you're like struggling to conceive, there have been couples there that have done IVF. And
No.
so the whole God opens and closes the womb, it's really just like a bit of a have when it comes down to, well, on one hand, God opens and closes the womb, but then on the other hand, you're allowed to go to science to help you do what you think is right. So totally hypocritical.
And then they're also like anti-medical in a lot of ways, and they're not like in terms of
Yeah,
like,
definitely anti-medical support for like mental health issues, 100%. Like they don't really believe mental health isn't like a real thing to them.
right.
It's faith and laziness. So there's some really like old school ignorant concepts around like supporting people with like real mental illnesses. um and then the thing with people in Gloriavale, there's no like medical education. So you don't know how to look after yourself. You don't know that if you get sick, you should go to a doctor because
Yeah.
there's no, like there's only doctors only come in every now and then. There's not like access to a doctor whenever you need it. Like it has to be quite extreme for you to say, I need medical help.
And they're not, they don't vaccinate, so they wouldn't have like the, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Really, really old school. Like
Yeah.
if you rewind history like maybe 300 years, you'd feel like most of the world would be living like Gloriavale, sort of, in terms of like access to technology, medical. Yeah.
Do people get sick then if there's not like, I mean, are they like, if they don't know to go to the doctor, like, are people getting sick and like having like, would have, do they believe in faith healing, or will they go to the doctor if they're really,
Oh,
really,
they'll definitely believe in prayer. So they have this practice which they call like the anointing by the elders. So
yeah,
if you're sick, your first like point of call should be God, because
yeah.
God runs everything and He's Almighty and He can perform miracles. So every Sunday morning, every Sunday they have a gathering where they have their religious worship, and they'll gather and like the men will pray for the sick. So it's like a spiritual practice or ritual that they have in Gloriavale.
So what happens like if someone has like a really like say cancer, will they get chemo or would they just pray for it to go away?
They'd do both.
Oh,
They'd definitely do both. Like if something is that extreme, they would do both.
so
But, but
in extreme cases they won't forgo medical care.
no, they won't. That like you can access medical care in extreme cases.
That's good. Well, there's this faith healing group that lives, they have this like, it's in Idaho and Oregon, and
Yeah.
they're fully faith healing. And so kids get like
They
strep
don't
throat.
need medical
They don't
support.
do any medical, nothing.
God.
So if a kid gets strep throat and they don't get cared for, like children are like, they're literally dying from strep throat, and they're like becoming completely deaf from ear infections, and
Yeah.
it's crazy. So at least they're getting some medical care if it's necessary.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
It sure
happens
is.
if like somebody becomes, this was one thing I was thinking of, what happens if somebody becomes disabled and they can't contribute?
Then they would be cared for by the community. So that's one of the things that like is sort of how used as propaganda for reasons to join. Is because like if something were to happen, like the elderly don't need a they don't need a
Retirement.
retirement plan
Yeah.
because Gloriavale is their retirement plan. Like they will literally just be cared for by the community until they die. So same thing with like a disabled person. They'll just be cared for by the community, and someone maybe be assigned as a caregiver. Yeah.
What about for children with disabilities? How are they treated?
I think mainly their parents look after them. There's not that many children with disabilities. I know there was one little girl who had Down syndrome,
Mm-hmm.
um, and she actually tragically died in a like isolation accident because they had a virus that was going through Gloriavale, and so they put all the sick people in one place to isolate them, but they took the handle of the door so the kids couldn't get in and out and infect anyone else. And she had, I think, a seizure. And don't quote me on all of this. I think this is the gist of it. She had a seizure and she choked on her food. That's right. And she was being looked after at the time by her mum. So really sadly, she passed away from that. But I think her and maybe one other boy are the only children that I think were disabled when I was there. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Are there like babies that like pass away just like unexpectedly? Like they would.
No, there were no deaths of babies while I was there. No.
So even with the small gene pool, the kids are
Yeah,
born relatively healthy.
I I guess well that's why they have arranged marriages, right? Because they arrange the marriages because they only marry within the community. So there's only like a select amount of people that you can actually marry in order to stop the bloodlines from crossing over. So they're arranged marriages, even though they say it's God who chooses the marriages. The leaders choose the marriages for a really practical purpose.
But at some point, they're going to run out of bloodline because everyone will be of related.
Yeah. Oh, I guess so.
Unless people join. Do people join Gloriavale?
People do join Gloriavale.
Really?
Yeah, for real. I don't like people do join Gloriavale because they see it as a way of life that they're looking for.
I want to become an oppressed person. I'm going to go to Gloriavale.
Yeah, you go join. You go join. See, I don't know if you would really fit into the like patriarchal structure.
Oh my God, I would have such a
Way
hard.
too outspoken.
No, that would not work. Plus the outfits are terrible. And I like
Yeah,
makeup, and I like makeup too much.
yeah. That's just vanity.
I know, I know, I know. That's crazy. I'm still like, oh, that whole world seems so bizarre to me, and I still don't understand it. And I still don't understand, like, so after I did the interview with you, someone
Yeah.
was like, from there in my comments, and they were just like, well, these people are like respected and their religion is accepted. And like, is that true?
So someone living in Gloriavale or
Like,
someone who has
like someone that like lives in that area, not in Gloriavale.
oh,
They said
okay.
like these people are accepted and this is an accepted like religion. And like, I'm thinking, what?
I think
Really?
that is personal opinion. Maybe they accept it. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people who do, which is disappointing.
I was like, accepted? Really? Like it's like what does the government in New Zealand consider it? Like a religion or is it like a cult?
I don't know what the government considers it. Like for for a lot of us who have left, we like definitely consider it a cult. Like
Right.
cult is definitely a word that's used among the leavers of Gloriavale. Um, and it's also something you have to kind of come to terms with because like when you leave Gloriavale, you don't leave because you think you, it's a cult. Usually you leave because you disagree with some of the teachings
Right.
or seen something you just think's wrong. And when you're living in a cult, like, you never think you're in a cult.
No.
Like,
No. Or you wouldn't
yeah,
stay.
yeah, like you just think this is your way of life. This is how you live. Like,
Yeah.
and the I don't know. I think there's so much like breach of human rights there, but there just hasn't been anyone really to like take the ball, like baton and run with it when it comes to like really like getting into what goes on in Gloriavale. So just for example, like I was helping my little sister with schoolwork the other day, and she was studying sweatshops and for her school project for her social studies,
Yeah.
and like she was studying like the abuse that happens in sweatshops, the like being underpaid, working long hours, all
Right.
those things. I was just gobsmacked because I was like, this was my life. Like this was literally my life. Like I got no pay growing up. I
Right.
worked like extremely long hours. Um,
Child labor.
and yeah, like child labor and the like the abuse as well, like the harassment if you don't fulfill your duties. I was talking to my cousin the other day. He's left Gloriavale, and I was like, "You didn't ever clean a fucking toilet. Like women had to do that. Like I had to grow up cleaning toilets, not because I was a woman.
Right.
Like the men didn't do that. And I guess like the men might be able to say, well, we had to do the farming, and that's gross and filthy, and you women didn't. But the point is that like it doesn't. It's just that there is no choice. Like there's
Right.
no choice for you to say I don't want to do this and refuse to do it. Like you have to do everything that you are asked to do.
Right. I
And
mean, 'cause the women are
properly.
relegated to like housekeeping, cleaning,
Yeah,
cooking. They are the teachers in the schools.
yeah.
Um, they're doing like
Oh, and
the
yeah,
laundry. Oh my God,
laundry.
the
Yeah,
laundry. That's like
yeah.
that's like commercial
Well,
laundry.
they have big commercial laundry, like with
Yeah.
huge commercial like washing machines and dryers, and they do it all in bulk. Like, so they've got all the facilities because that's how they've set themselves up.
So does everyone have to like write their family's names on their clothes? Is that how it works?
Oh yeah. So you like right you like all the clothes have tags on. So I've even got old like clothes that I've still got, and they've got my name on, like Lilia, just like on a little tag, like Voguarded on a little tag that gets sewn on. And when the girls sort the washing, they sorted them into boxes, and then those boxes are then delivered to the family rooms of all your clean washing with all your little tags on it.
How many of those amazing blue dresses did you have?
Oh, probably about 5 at any one time. And then you would get in, they would do like what they call a dress run, and they would make a dress and you get fitted with a new dress. So then the dress that you were using as your good dress, you would just like rotate it down until you'd throw out the one that was like really crappy or you'd grown out of it. So pretty, eh?
And they're all so ugly.
Oh my God. No,
And
they're beautiful.
oh my God, the terrible
They are
pink dresses
beautiful.
for weddings. Those ugly pink dresses for weddings.
I know. I know. I know.
Okay, there's this thing about the weddings that's so beyond creepy to me.
Mm-hmm.
So the husband picks out the color of the dress and it's almost always pink and they're hideous. And then,
Probably because only color, like pink's the only color that's any different to what you like normally wear.
and then
So much.
literally they get a bed ready for, they have to go do it the minute after
I
they
know.
get,
I know.
and they
It's
make
because
it like
like
this thing where it's like,
the whole philosophy behind it is that like, so they believe in like one woman, one man, married for life. You have no other partners. You touch no other man or woman, right? And that
yeah,
the marriage itself is based on the act of consummation. And interestingly, I don't think Gloriavale is the only society that's ever like practiced this. Like practice this where they send the couple away to like make it official.
I know, it's
It's
so weird.
foreign
So I
to
was
us
like
as well.
watching that. I was watching it, and they like send them away. They get the bed ready, and then
Yeah.
everyone cheers them on after they've done it.
Imagine the pressure.
And
I
these
know.
people are basically strangers
Well, the people in
getting
Gloriavale.
married.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you are strangers, but you're not because you've grown up in Gloriavale. Like you see each other all the time. Like you know that they sit there in that table, what family they're a part of. You've seen them at every single gathering. So they're not necessarily like they're not strangers to you. You might never have talked to that person because you're not allowed to talk to, well, not
Yeah.
really to opposite sex, but they wouldn't be like strangers because Gloriavale is like a big community, one big family. So you do all know them.
Wait, Neville Cooper is my uncle. I love
I think
him.
someone's having a laugh, I reckon.
Praise Hopeful Christian. Is this someone that's like trolling you?
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah.
Rip Neville Cooper. Is it, that was your grandfather, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he's dead now. That's why I said RIP with a crying face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Praise Hopeful Christian. Well, if you are typing on this right now, you are not in Gloriavale, right?
This is
They couldn't.
definitely someone having
They
a
wouldn't have.
laugh.
They don't have Instagram in Gloriavale.
No, well, they would
Yeah,
have that
it
phone.
has to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I feel like my brain always, every time I talk to you, it's. So how have you
Well,
been affected at all? Like, has your work slowed down, or are you able to still work?
I'm able to still work, but it's definitely like slowed down. And I'm using the time to catch up on some other projects that I've got going on. So some writing projects that I've got going on. And yeah, I just signed up to do a little bit of stock trading to see like how that goes. So with a company that like teaches you how to trade on the stock market. So I'm really interested to just see how that goes and learn a new skill. And pretty much I've been doing art at home. Yeah, just working on my social media, my writing, keeping busy really. I live quite close to the hills, so I'm really lucky. I can go out like every single day and run up the hills and walk, and we've had amazing weather. So it's actually been really nice. It's like it is a little bit like a holiday because there isn't
It's
that constant
fall
work.
where you are, right?
Yeah,
It's fall.
but
Okay.
I do a lot of work online, so I'm like in some ways part of my work is picked up and part of it's gotten quieter.
Yeah,
I reckon it all
I know.
balances
I feel
out.
like I'm busier. I'm
Yeah.
drinking water. I don't know why everyone is obsessed with what I drink. It's like the same cup, it's water. It's always water.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, running up hills right now sounds nice. feel
Oh,
like I
it's
need.
so nice. How have you been keeping sane during quarantine?
Oh my gosh. Eating too much. Oh, but no. I don't know. The hardest thing for me right now is that there's just so many people are home all the time. Like my husband is working from home, and my son is home constantly, and then his nurses here are home, and so it's like there's always just so many people in our house, and I'm an
Yeah.
introvert, and like during the day when he's at school normally is like when I get my like centering and like I can like decompress, but I don't have quiet anymore, and it's just I don't get any alone time, so I find myself like ah! So
Yeah.
I'm working out. I go downstairs. We have like a elliptical, which is like a little machine for running, basically without running.
Yeah.
And then walking the dogs has been helping, and
Yeah.
busy working. Just like people are so bored at home, so they're like they want content constantly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really all we're doing. My husband has been doing some projects, but then cleaning. Oh my God, I clean a lot. Are you cleaning more? I find myself cleaning so much.
I don't like cleaning. Like I sometimes I like it, it's therapeutic. Most of the time though, I just let like my partner do it. He's great. He does all the cleaning, cooking, laundry, everything. I'm like, this is like the complete opposite of my life in Gloriavale. Um, he fully spoils me, fully looks after me.
Aww.
Love it. Like, because I'm like, I actually hate cleaning, and I think it's actually a bit of residual like
Oh,
resentment,
I'm sure. I'm
like
sure.
having to do, being forced to like do that all my life
Yeah.
when I didn't want to
Yeah.
do it. Um, so I let him do all that, and
I
I just like,
think because it like makes me feel like calmer when things are
yeah,
clean.
absolutely, 100%. Yeah, that's
But
the
I
same reason.
don't, if I had to clean that much, like in the world, no, I'd feel like you. But I just was like, yesterday I cleaned my entire main floor.
Yeah,
She
that's
still thinks
so.
it's okay. First off, this is not a flask. It's a big sippy cup. See? It's a water
You've got your
cup.
laugh on the
This
job,
is like
eh?
a water cup. This is not a flask. Have you seen what a flask looks like? This is not a flask. This is like 32 ounces. That would be a big flask.
Oh, Ellie Mae's like, um, I have 4 kids and my husband being home, and I absolutely love it. That's so nice. It's nice that, like, I love hearing stories of people that being quarantined has actually been really good for them. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
in
yeah.
terms,
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I feel like family
yeah.
time has like been so much better, and I feel like my
Oh,
husband and I have had gotten to have more like time with our son, which is nice.
oh,
Which we wouldn't have normally. Um, so that part of it, I definitely agree,
yeah.
is nice. Yeah. And like playing, like today, for instance, I let my husband sleep in, let him, because I mean, let him because my son would wake him up if he could. So I had
Oh,
to,
okay.
you know, so I had to like keep my son downstairs because my son is like obsessed with daddy. And so I'm like, no, no, no,
Yeah.
we can't go down. We can't, we're going to let daddy sleep. We're going to let him sleep. So like my son and I were like watching kitty videos together, and like he loves to watch YouTube videos of cats.
How old's your boy?
He's
Is it,
7.
oh, he's still little.
7. Yeah, and he's autistic. So we watch the same
Oh,
videos over and over and over again. So
yeah. Yeah.
he likes
Yeah.
kitties, and then we were watching some Godzilla stuff, and then
Yeah.
we were he likes to pretend that he's a cat. So then he was pretending
Mm.
that he was a cat for a while.
Cute.
Yeah. So he
Cute.
actually Katie, I'm 52.
Yeah, Katie. You look
No.
no
52.
53. Get it right.
I'm 49. I'm 47 million.
Oh,
Can you imagine? I love that you have a boyfriend
yeah.
that like does all the cooking and cleaning. That's amazing.
Oh, he's so amazing. Like he's the like so lovely to me. If I think if I have daughters, and my sisters, if they had a boyfriend like him, I would be stoked. So that's how I know that it's like so good, because I'm like, you know, I want it for the people that I love most in the world.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is he, how long have you guys been together?
Oh, we've been together about 6 months. Yeah. Well, honestly, I've been through like, I did teenage dating, right? But I did it late in life. So I had to learn how to have healthy, and nobody role modeled healthy relationships to me. Look at
Right.
all the men and women in my life. They were like, the man is the head of the family, and the woman has to submit to him and do everything he says. Um, so I never had like a role model to say this is what a healthy relationship looks like, and so I had to go learn that the hard way. But and I was saying to my boyfriend yesterday, I was like, I've been through so many crap relationships, just trying to figure out what's right for me, and I feel like I'm finally at a place in my life where I've done enough of that like inner work, and I know myself well enough, and I've built the boundaries too, where I'm no longer willing to like bend over backwards for someone or give someone more than like what they're worth, or like give someone like all of myself with and get nothing in return and think
Yeah.
that I have to keep giving. So I've got into a place in my life where my boundaries are strong enough, and that's like brought into my life this amazing relationship with this guy that I'm just like, we are so compatible. And people talk about compatibility in relationships. The philosophies I was raised with about relationships is that they're hard work. And I
Yeah.
think they like you have to work on relationships, but like I don't find this relationship hard work at all. It like makes my
Well,
life
it's
better.
still new.
Yeah.
But it's good that it's like when it's new, it shouldn't be hard, because if it's hard when it's new, then you know it's going to be like hard long term. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I
I
never
love,
knew what people meant when they said like they said compatible, or they described relationships as compatible. And now I'm like, I get it. Like I just get it. Like everything just fits together perfectly in like all the areas of life, and it just functions smoothly, works well.
right. Yep. Like having the same shared like beliefs about family, about, you know, like for my husband and I, it was like having the same shared belief about like politics, how
Yeah,
we want, like how we want to treat people, what we believe in, what we
yeah,
don't believe in, you know,
yeah,
what we are passionate about. That's so
yeah,
important.
yeah.
And when you don't
Oh,
have a choice and it's just like, oh, well, I hope you guys work out, like if it's
yeah.
arranged, I can't imagine how successful. There must be so many unhappy people there. So I'm glad that you're happy.
Oh, it's interesting because like the psychology of people is different in those relationships, and I know there definitely is people who are like, I don't want to marry this person. This is the worst thing that could happen to me. But then their like psychology is that they'll do anything for the will of God, and they believe it's the will of God. So they
Yeah.
just like put their own wants and needs aside and like just give unselfishly of themselves. And that's the philosophy that they've taught as the ideal for their society. Um, yeah, but I feel so lucky to be able to choose. When I first started relationships, I definitely came into it with the mindset that like that it had to be instant commitment and this had to work out. Like I
Yeah.
didn't realize that you could date someone and not be with them forever and simply be with them for a time. And
Oh, right.
that like you could break up and it's all good. Like I because I've been taught from when I was so little that like relationships were forever. Like
Yeah.
and and so you know people from Gloriavale can quite easily come out into the world and get into relationships and think they have to stay committed to someone who's not good for them, doesn't treat
Right.
them right,
Right.
when they're not happy.
Yeah.
One thing I learned, one of the hardest things I've had to learn is like just to walk away. Like, and it's hard too because you love people. Like, how many of us have been in relationships where we don't want to walk away from that relationship because we
Oh,
loved
yeah.
that person, and breaking up a relationship is so hard. But honestly, for
Yeah.
me, leaving relationships that have been toxic for me, like, best thing I ever did. Best thing.
I can relate actually. I grew up Catholic, and there's definitely like this um they don't like divorce, and the Catholicism divorce. I mean, when I was growing
Yeah.
up, they're more accepting of it now,
Yeah.
kind of. But when I was growing up, it wasn't accepted. Divorce wasn't possible, and so like it was just very like instilled in me that like marriage is for life. You don't get a choice.
Oh,
Like,
really?
yeah,
So
oh
you can
yeah,
relate.
yeah. And so I don't think like, and my mom didn't really date a whole lot. Like my dad was the person for like one of her first serious relationships, and so I think like I never had a model of like how do you have a relationship and break up. So
Yeah.
I stayed in a lot of relationships where I wasn't happy because I was like, well, I have to stay, because that was sort of how I was like, everyone around me, was like, you just make it work.
Yeah. Which is not like, why would you stay and make it work if it's not right? It's like
Right.
the wrong advice. Like, I would,
Yeah.
I sometimes when I'm in, like, in a relationship, I think about, well, if I was my sister, what advice would I give me?
Yeah.
Like, about this relationship? And
Yeah.
like, I'm big on like, walk away if it's not right for you. Because there's so many people in the world. Like, I don't believe in the one. I believe in finding something that's really healthy for you, good for you, makes you happy. And that looks different for everybody, but I don't believe in staying in a relationship just because, um, it's the relationship that you have at the moment, or you have kids. I
Yeah.
grew up, and divorce is a sin in Gloriavale. Like,
Yeah.
so break up with someone's like a terrible thing. And then
I
there comes,
still like, yeah, I still like, it was so instilled in me about not divorce that I wouldn't like even know to divorce. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't divorce my husband, but it would be still like
yeah.
I waited until I was 31 before I got married because I didn't want to make a mistake.
Mm, yeah. Whereas, like, even churches out here, like, I see kids getting married at like 17, like really young, 18. And I'm like, do you know what? Sometimes it works. But when it's like the pressure that a society puts on kids, because sex before marriage is not okay, right?
Right.
So,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
like, if these kids and being natural human beings, it's like seen as fornication, you're not right with God, you should feel guilty, and there's a lot of shame around that. So the only way that you can have sex is if you get married. So these kids are like, they're fucking kids. Of course
They
they're going to
get
be like,
married when they're like
put a,
18 because they want to do it. Yeah, I know. I know. I know. I know. I gave up on that when I was like 15 though.
yeah. Do you know what?
I'm
I
like,
wrote it a while, actually. I write about it in my book, actually, but when I lost my virginity. Um, and like, I went through what like most girls will go through. Like, like, is this the right person? Is this actually what I want to do? Like, it's kind of like a big thing to lose your virginity, especially coming from Gloriavale, because it's like, once you lose your virginity, you're not pure. Like, you're not good anymore. You're spoiled goods, which,
right.
fuck that system. Like, so I really had to like reject all of this, all of these philosophies that I'd been taught about how like being with someone other than someone who was going to be my husband would like make me spoiled goods, make me not good enough, be a sin, like be
Oh
shame.
yeah, I mean that's what my
Yeah,
confirmation was. It was like you better be a virgin because
yeah,
that's the gift that you give to your husband, and you can't
yeah.
get that. And then this whole lie of like every time you have sex, they leave a bit of them inside of you, and it's like,
Oh my god, soul ties, the whole soul ties thing.
yes,
I've heard this like
that is
so
such
often.
BS. That is
And
such BS.
like, yeah, it's like you're losing a piece of you that you'll never get back.
No, you'll just have 5 minutes of fun and then you'll move on.
Yeah, like, it's so superstitious. Like, there's so
It
much
is.
superstition
It
in
is.
religion, that I'm just like, haven't we like progressed as
I
humans?
know. I know.
Haven't we have like people are think that I left Christianity because I had a bad experience in Christianity. And I always say to them, that's not true. I left Christianity because I think it makes no sense. Like
Yeah,
me,
me too.
like I read the Bible for myself. I read other literature for myself. And Christianity just seemed like a big story to me. Like the Bible
Yeah,
was a really cool book. I grew up reading Old Testament stories of like Isaac and Jacob and Rebecca and Rachel. And I loved those stories, but that's just stories.
that's
Like
how I,
it's not the word
yeah,
of
that's
God.
how I felt
That
too.
if I
People always are always like, how did you become an atheist? And I'm just like, because I just woke up and realized I didn't believe. I mean, it wasn't like this profound, like,
yeah,
and I'm not going to tell everyone else, like, you can't believe. Like, if that's what you want and
yeah,
like,
exactly.
you can believe. I'm not going to.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
so afraid this is going to get cut off because it's probably been like almost an hour and Instagram lives always cut off.
Oh, really? Okay, that's all good. I need to work anyway.
Oh my
You called me.
gosh. I know. This was so fun. I could talk to you all day because I love you.
Oh, that's so thanks.
You are so I feel like I have a friend in New Zealand now.
Oh, a Kiwi friend. Kiwi.
Yay! Well, you have a good day and get your work done.
Okay. Yeah, you too, Katie. I'll see you later.
Bye,
Ciao.
honey. Ciao.
Bye.
Oh my gosh. Thanks for joining me, guys. I hope